Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Tony Petrarca with your live Pinpoint Doppler 12 Futurecast.
Well, certainly our weather team has been analyzing data now all day long. In fact, the last 3 days, putting it all together, and of course the end result, unfortunately, is a major impact here in southern New England. Let me show you the satellite photo. As you can see, it's definitely the spin within the storm here off the Carolina coastline, and not out of the question over the next 24 hours for the storm to actually pick up a little strength. And while it gives the appearance of getting ready to move out to sea, we still anticipate that hook back towards the New Jersey coastline tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. So the storm will not escape out to sea. Major impacts are likely with damaging wind, the coastal flooding, very likely at the time of both high tides. We'll talk more about that in just a second, what we call the storm surge. Power outages widespread as comparable to Irene, if not worse, come tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. The coastal flood warning for tomorrow, a storm surge of 4 to 7 feet. That is the abnormal rise in the tide as it approaches the coastline. We're going to talk about surge in more detail in just a second. High wind warning for tomorrow, sustained winds of 35 to 50. In other words, consistently blowing at that speed, especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, gusting to hurricane force, especially along the south shore. So for tonight, just some gusty winds and some showers. If you're running some last minute errands, the weather should not be severe, but it's a completely different story tomorrow morning, and especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, the worst of the wind and the worst of the coastal flooding. You see a band of rain on the backside of the storm itself spinning out at sea, and while we will see some significant rain, I'm not anticipating the excessive rains like they're anticipating across the mid-Atlantic coastline. In fact, let me show you the impacts that we're anticipating. As far as any potential tornadoes, you can get that with landfalling tropical systems. That is low. The wind potential is high. The surge potential is very high. The rain will be significant, but we're not talking about these excess amounts of like 10, 12 inches like you can get with some landfalling hurricanes. This orange area represents the envelope of tropical storm force winds. Look how far removed it is from the center. I mean, this thing covers a lot of real estate as far as strong wind, so you don't necessarily have to have the center of the storm come through your backyard. At winds of 75, gusting to 92. Let me show you the forecast, and we'll put this into motion. The mustard color represents 40+ mile-per-hour winds sustained. This orange color close to 60, and then your hurricane force winds in darker purple. This is 2 o'clock Monday afternoon, and then still anticipated to make that hard right-hand turn towards the New Jersey coastline late tomorrow night, early on Tuesday morning. But the shield of damaging wind covers all of New England, especially coastal New England. And then as the storm finally winds down in upstate New York, it'll probably mill around up here for several days, though by Tuesday I'm not anticipating any kind of severe winds. Most of that will occur actually tomorrow afternoon. So the best chance for landfall is right in here. The path, unfortunately, represents or gives us an onshore flow of wind. In other words, the wind is blowing from the ocean towards the coastline. So each high tide cycle, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then again at 8:20 in the that should read actually 8:20 tomorrow evening, not p.m. 8:20 tomorrow evening. That is the best chance, unfortunately, of seeing some significant flooding. Now, on top of the abnormal rise in tide are incredible waves that will come crashing on shore. These 15, 20-foot breakers. On top of that are abnormally high tide, and that is why we're very concerned about surge. Let me explain more to you about what surge is. Now, I'm showing you a Gulf of Mexico example, but the process here is the same. As the storm approaches, it's on the right-hand side of the storm where you get this onshore flow of wind off the ocean, and quite simply that wind direction, south and southeast, it pushes water towards the coastline. So envision this as being the southern New England coastline. I'll step out of the way, and it's this abnormal rise in the water due to that onshore flow causing the astronomical high tides because of the full moon and the onshore flow and the strong winds, and why we're very concerned about significant coastal flooding, especially during that time of high tide. Geography has a lot to play in why the surge does what it does. The shape of Narragansett Bay. Let me show you one of the other pieces of technology that we use where we can forecast using computer models wave heights. Look at these wave heights offshore by tomorrow evening. That wave energy, courtesy of these onshore winds, has to be brought towards the coastline. So on top of the abnormally high tide, you have these huge waves on top of that, and why we're very concerned about the South Shore and parts of Narragansett Bay as far as flooding. The wind potential would be highest tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Sustained winds between 30 and 50, gusting to hurricane force. These are going to knock down tree limbs and power lines, widespread power outages, and of course the coastal surge that we're concerned with. Tuesday is not as severe. Tuesday's a windy day, but it's not like Monday, 68. Halloween is not a severe day either, though some scattered showers are possible, and a temperature at 65 degrees. I mean, concerned with the surge potential here with the second high tide tomorrow evening at around 8 o'clock.
Right. Thanks, Tony. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6:30, the Patriots go overseas.